First off, thanks very much, Duncan and Robin, for coming on East Village Radio and playing those great tracks that we heard before. And they're off the new album, are they?
They are indeed, yeah.
Yeah? And it's, any singles in there? It sounds like they all could be singles to me.
I think that's a bad sign.
Is it? Why?
Yeah, I think, yeah. If you start to think about... there should always be a definitive line as to what's going to be a single, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing we've learnt on the second album. There should be a definitive line as to
album
singles. Yeah. But at the same time, we probably could do with one more single on there.
Well, two of the tracks we have played are singles.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they sound like it. But I thought that with the first album, apart from Facing, which was, I think, the most obvious sounding single to me, I presume that's why you released it as the first single.
Yeah.
The others, over time and listening, grew into, as far as I was concerned, any of those could be singles. There was 4 or 5 singles on there as well.
We never thought that when we were doing the first album campaign. Not that there was much of a campaign, but we knew when we recorded the album that there was Facing, Steadicam and Takeover, which were the singles, and the rest were just considered to be album tracks. But looking back, Doppelganger probably could have been a single.
Yeah, sure.
There was definitely a good video for it. We always had a video idea of doing a part 2 of the Facing video, doing a Doppelganger video, but with a funeral of the bride.
Right.
And because we had a Charlie Brooker lookalike, we'd get him back with Charlie Brooker, and then they could meet each other, and that would end the campaign of the first album.
Right, so
kind of
it'd be carry on as a story.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God.
So you've taken time out from recording the second album to come down here. How far into that album are you?
We're about 4 tracks off, I reckon, and then we'll have a good 15, 16 songs to choose from to, have a 10, 11, 12 track album. But it's feeling good. There's a lot more production in this album than the last one.
Right.
Working with an actual producer.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what about because who produced the first album? German guy.
It was a German guy, but he didn't really produce it so much. It was kind of, he engineered it.
Right.
He did change the snare on every track.
Yeah, there was a different snare used on each track, but that was about the extent of the production.
And one song got turned into a ballad.
Yeah,
Very controversially.
Yeah, we don't play that one anymore.
Yeah, no, we stopped playing that now.
So who's on production duties for this album?
It's 2 guys, Brendan Williams and Phil Bullymont. Phil used to work at Channel M, he used to do the sound down there, so we've known him for a while. And Brendan's one of the lecturers at Salford Uni, but
Has he taught you?
He has done, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did.
So how did he come into the frame? Because I would have thought that musically, as a band, you're very proficient with your instruments, and I think to kind of hand over the reins to somebody, I bet that would have been quite a serious decision that you would have come to.
Well, our decision to do a whole album together with those two was it didn't really take a lot of thinking. The connections are all there. With they're good friends of our manager. We're friends in general. We're all friends of each other. It's a unit. It's really really good feeling about it. And we'd already done 2 recordings with them. We'd already done our Love and Disaster 1 compilation and the Ink single, and it just kind of we knew that
it felt right. They've both got really good ears and they can hear what a song needs, really, which it's nice having that extra input, but we know if it doesn't sound good, then we can just say, it doesn't work.
Right, so have you approached the second album? People talk about the difficult second album. Have you approached it in a different way that you approached the first?
I suppose we have, because the first album was literally the 10 songs we had at that point. And it's taken a while to write this second album, really. And I had a general sound in mind, and it's kind of progressed over the last 18 months. So I think the sound of the songs it sounds more like a unit, whereas the first album maybe sounded a bit more scattered. I don't know, but
I think there's one particular feature in the second album, I think, which we're really going to try and manipulate when we get down to the mix, which is kind of songs going into songs,
right?
And actually making some nice little
segues.
Yeah, hills and troughs or whatever. More
changes in dynamics, because we don't end up doing that very much.
It's
all quite in your face some of the time, so it's nice to have the quieter moments.
Right.
Yeah, some more softer numbers with this one, I think.
Right. Well, just like to thank you very much for coming down and playing those great tracks.